Hi, I'm Kezia. I'm a stroke survivor and a member of Bind.
And hi, I'm Carrie, a stroke survivor and also a member of Bind. And today we are welcoming Shari Niederhoff. She is a board member and active volunteer for Head for the Cure. She is also very passionate about connecting survivors and building networks. So Shari, we're happy to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Bindwaves, the official podcast of the Brain Injury Network of Dallas. I'm Brian White, Bind's Executive Director. On each episode, we'll be providing insight into the brain injury community. We'll be talking to members and professionals regarding their stories and the important role of Bind's Clubhouse. We work as a team to inspire hope, community, and a sense of purpose to survivors, caregivers, and the public. Thank you for tuning into Bindwaves. Let's get on with the show.
I guess to get started, just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
She's a lot.
I know.
Like where I live and all that kind of stuff.
Kids, no
Okay,
kids,
gotcha.
dogs. We always care about the dogs, you know.
Okay.
The important stuff.
Okay.
Before we get into the more important
You can
stuff.
cut all that, can't you? Or is
We'll
this
try,
kind
or
of live?
maybe no, because it's funny.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so funny. Okay, all right. I live in McKinney. We've been in Texas for 20 years. I have married with two kids. Elizabeth, who's 26 and married. She's just graduating on Saturday with her doctorate in occupational therapy, and she actually did her capstone here.
Yes, we remember Elizabeth.
Yes, and then my youngest is 23, and she is in Oklahoma at Stillwater at OSU. They're both married. I have amazing son-in-laws. I play tennis for fun when I'm not doing Head for the Cure stuff. And we just adopted an 11-year-old retired guide dog. He's a black lab named Wade. So
cute.
Our family was involved in training guide dogs and diabetic alert dogs for about 12 years.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then I'm going to see right now that you mentioned Head for the Cure, how did you become so involved with brain injury, within this community, within this network?
Well, in 2010, my boot camp instructor and sweet friend, Stevie Patrick, was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was a grade 2 astrocytoma, anaplastic astrocytoma. And so because she was in fitness, I kind of wanted to see what we could bring and honor her and kind of do more. She asked us to pray. That's all she really wanted. And I'm like, I need to do more. I'll pray, but I need to do more. So I just Googled different 5Ks for brain cancer, and I came across Head for the Cure. Wound up calling them and saying, hey, would you bring your event to North Texas in honor of my friend? And they took a chance on us. They had one employee at the time, and now I think they're in 25 cities. They've grown to that much, and so it's an amazing community. I am passionate about finding a cure, finding better treatment, and that's how I became involved.
Okay, and so just a little bit more about Head for the Cure. So my understanding, they started in Missouri?
In Kansas.
Kansas,
Yeah,
okay.
Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, Missouri.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kansas City,
Kansas
Missouri.
City, whichever.
Yeah. They started there.
So is Head, like most people, it feels like, I know I didn't, just know of the 5K for Head for the Cure.
Yes.
Does Head for the Cure do more than just the 5K runs around, or is that their purpose, just to raise money and awareness through the race?
Right. Our passion is to raise awareness and funds and ignite hope within the community. So we do it mainly through our 5Ks, but they also have different fundraising events. They've done golf tournaments and bike rides, and all different cities host different fundraisers, but the primary way is our 5K. We also have they also have a kind of their educational initiative called Brains for the Cure, and they host support groups for caregivers and survivors through that. And they're also an educational website to connect you with doctors and physicians in different brain tumor centers around the country.
Okay, well, great. Well, and I know we just had the North Texas Head for the Cure.
Did.
So do you want to let us know how you did with that?
Sure. We had an awesome day. The weather was perfect. It was this past Saturday. We had about 1,500 participants and about 100 volunteers and friends that came, including you guys. We appreciate y'all being there. We had 72 teams that were represented, 55 survivors, and 24 of those were new. So, which was really hard for me to kind of swallow this year. That means that 24 new people were diagnosed and had found us. Thankfully, they found us, right? But it's a little bittersweet. We had 84 caregivers, and we raised about $150,000. So we exceeded our goal, which is really exciting, and our funds they stay locally to UT Southwestern and also to Gray Matters Support Group. We grant them a grant. We offer them a grant through Head for the Cure.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of that sounds so beautiful, and I think just even from your who you are and what you do, even with training dogs and everything, all of that is so much to do for others. And what have you learned that's been so impactful in your life about brain injury, brain injury, cancer? What has been something a fact that has just stuck to you and that you loved being able to share with others?
I think for me, my background is in hospice nursing, right? I was a hospice nurse before I had kids. So I've always had, a love for the elderly is mostly that was in hospice. And so, and kind of grew up serving others and teaching my kids that and everything. So I think so I've seen a lot of different cancers and different people, communities of cancer and breast cancer, all that kind of stuff. And they are all wonderful, but I can tell you that the brain cancer community is amazing. And I think for me, the joy, even though they get this diagnosis and living with a brain injury, right? I have seen so much joy in people that I've been around and really living life to the fullest, not taking anything for granted. And I think that's something that's lost on a lot of people these days. We're so self-focused with everything that's going on and always wanting to get the next step or do something better. And I said, live in the day. You guys do that. You do that every day and you do it beautifully. And that to me has been so heartwarming. I love to see that. And I'm very impressed that it's an inspiration for me to see that.
Well, and I kind of bring back brain injury and brain cancer. I think this might be a little confusion for some people.
Sure.
It was for me. I know of Gray Matters because we have had some members from their support. We've gone and spoken to them, and some of their members have come here. But just because you have brain cancer doesn't necessarily mean you have a brain injury, correct? I mean, no, you might end up with a brain injury because of your brain cancer, but I want to make sure our listeners understand that brain cancer doesn't necessarily equal brain injury.
Correct, but having brain cancer and having surgery can give you some of the symptoms that may look like a brain injury, right? So some of the modalities of therapy and all that can be the same as well. And they benefit from Bind. I mean, I've known many people that have had brain cancer and they've come here. So it's a benefit, because
Sure.
I think it kind of mimics a little bit of it, right?
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. Honestly, I think that just you being able to say how fulfilling you feel about sharing all of this, I don't know, just wanting to do more for anyone else is just so inspiring. It really is.
Thank you.
It really is.
You're sweet.
So thank you so much for that. And I know that right now you just said how people that have had brain cancer and come to Bind, but how did you hear about Bind? Where did we come to you? Or how did you come to us?
Goodness. I think through Gray Matters, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I think through Gray Matters, and then I think Karen is the one who told me. I think she volunteered here, and then I started coming here. And you guys, I think a couple of years ago, you all did so much volunteer work for Head for the Cure. You packed these packets that that you guys sent to all the neurosurgeons and neuro-oncologists. So I think we kind of got involved because you guys were volunteering for us. But I think it was mainly through Gray Matters, and that connection there is how we got involved with you guys.
Yeah, that would make sense because Karen is a very active member
Yes.
for us. And
Yes.
yes, we know her through Gray Matters, as is our executive director. He also came to us through Gray Matters. So,
exactly.
yeah.
I think it's awesome that we somehow within this brain injury community, they always connect one another to how to find you know, how to help others, how they help us, and like vice versa all the time.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
I do love connecting people.
Yeah.
And it's a great community for sure.
Yeah.
It is, and I know just being out for the Head for the Cure, we made new connections as well with some of the different therapists, because I think that's another thing people don't think about. Like you said, some of the injuries are the same, but even if they're not the same, we all have the same therapist. Everyone has a PT and an OT and a speech.
Very true.
So yeah, so
Very
we made new
true.
connections out there, and that's the thing. It's such a small world. Like if you know one therapist, they're gonna know that someone's gonna know that therapist. Everybody knows everybody, and the brain cancer, brain injury world seems to be getting more like that as well, which is good. I wish it was smaller, but it is what it is.
I agree.
Yeah, very much like you said, the silver lining, you know,
Yeah.
like just like, okay, it's, you know, bittersweet, the
Yes,
said.
for sure.
That's
For
so
sure.
true.
Yes.
I do want to take a little pause to make sure to remind everyone of all our listeners to make sure to follow us and like our pages. We're all on social media streams, and you can make sure to check us out every Thursday on your favorite social platform.
Awesome. Thanks, Kezia. So as you're looking for Head for the Cure, so you've said, how long has Head for the Cure been here in North Texas?
So Head for the Cure has been here. We just celebrated our 13th race. So it's been here for 13 years. Head for the Cure has been in existence it'll be 21 years this year. We celebrated our 20th year anniversary last year. And it was it was started in Kansas City from Matt Anthony, who is our founder and CEO. And his brother, Chris, was actually diagnosed in Frisco.
Oh.
He was living in Frisco at the time with a GBM in 2000. And he was an avid runner, and they decided to kind of form this Head for the Cure 5K thing, and their first race was in 2003, I think. So.
Okay. And so maybe what are kind of the future plans for Head for the Cure, and also how can our listeners, if they're interested in getting involved with Head for the Cure, how can they do that?
So future plans, I think we are doing some focus on pediatric cancers. That's something that we haven't done in the past, and so that's a big push for them. Also, I think they are looking at increasing their awareness, and there's a new program of Brains for the Cure that they're coming out with that'll give some support and hope to families. And I can't really say a lot about that. It's actually it's a family that has lost a loved one, and they're kind of coming on board with us and giving kind of a platform for that. But we're going to raise money. We're going to find a cure, I hope, in our lifetime, right? That's really what my goal is, my passion is, at Head for the Cure is. They've raised over $25 million in their 20 years of existence for brain cancer research, which is really great. North Texas itself has raised over $2 million, so I'm really, really proud of that number. So I think we're pressing on, we're pressing on. We're not going to leave this community, and we're going to hopefully find a cure. So
yeah, and I think that's awesome. $2 million is a great number. That is an amazing number.
Yes.
2 million. I definitely would be proud of it a lot. And you're really active. Like, is this what is currently your position and like Head for the Cure, and like what is your personal goal? I mean, you're super passionate about it. Like I can see it. Like honestly flows to me right now.
Yeah.
Like I can feel it.
You're sweet.
Yeah.
So my role, I am just the local volunteer
And this
here.
is how everyone should be. Look at you.
And
Look at that.
I am a board member. So we do Zoom calls quarterly, and involved in the marketing strategic subcommittee of that. But I am just a volunteer. And so, yes, I am so passionate about it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should say, I'm just this. Like, no, you are an amazing volunteer. So much passion. You bring so much to this position, like to this community, right? That's amazing.
Yeah, I do. They are my favorite people. I've got to say that. Caregivers, survivors, team captains, we work with those. So it's an honor, really.
Yeah, and honestly, with your work right now, and you're passionate for it, how can you tell others to be as passionate as you are to make this impact in life? Like really, like what are you gonna tell to everyone that's listening to us? Like this is what you gotta do to be like me.
Oh, I don't know. Just be like you. But I would say serve others. Think about others, and do something that's out of character. This is an interesting community because so many people have some disabilities, and a lot of people shy away from that, right? But press into that. Ask them, hey, what's going on, or tell me about your story, right? Ask them about it, because everyone wants to be known, and everyone is here to support everyone. So I think just pressing into the hard stuff sometimes is what we need to do.
Yeah, and I love that. Seriously, I think it's amazing. Just because I was like, hold on. Normally people are like, oh, I'm like the CEO of this, and this is what, but no, doing it are things that it was simple, like love and passion and like your honest care. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank you.
We need more people like you in all of our different groups. But
Thanks.
Now, I have a question. It just kind of came around in my head. You mentioned earlier that UT Southwest, some of the money goes back to UT Southwest. So I'm just curious how that works. I mean, I know they're a student school, training school. So does that,
They actually, it goes to their brain tumor, it's the Peter O'Donnell Brain Center there. And so they actually have their own research program there. And so our dollars go right to their research program.
Okay.
In fact, Dr. Marr, her group and everyone there is kind of recipients of that. And she was saying on Saturday that there's a new drug that was just found that came out to help with GBMs and kind of keeping it at bay a little bit. So we have exciting research, and that's at UT Southwestern, and that's where the dollars go, to the research center there.
Okay. That's what I figured it was something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to be like hearing about that too, about all the research. Is there like something that you would recommend that people visit in case this is like some information to be needed or want to be known?
Sure.
Yeah.
So our website for Head for the Cure is headforthecure.org. And then Brains for the Cure, our kind of educational initiative, is brainsforthecure.org. So you can kind of get some information there about our events and fundraising and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, we'll make sure to be having that in the description as like a part of our resources area. So that's awesome. But just before finishing, because I know like we're about to get kicked out. I'm okay. What do you want to make sure that like it's for people like, I know you spoke great things for the volunteers, for people that probably didn't, have this as an issue, but for those that are being like just diagnosed, like what do you want them to be hearing from you?
Wow, I would say keep the faith. Don't always listen to what the statistics are. Don't Google it, don't get it. You come to one of these groups, you come to a race, you come to Gray Matters, and you will see long-term survivors. So, and live life and get the support. There's amazing support in North Texas area. Get the support and live each day.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Don't ever WebMD yourself.
No.
It's never a good sign.
It's never a good thing. No.
And it's the same we say for brain injury survivors, which I can totally get for brain cancer survivors as well. Support groups are a great lifeline for everybody. In fact, support groups in general for anybody are a great lifeline. We have caregiver support groups. They're all out there. They're all around. And
yes,
they're definitely helpful. Survivors need to share their stories. That helps us grow and helps us keep the faith and keep positive, because sometimes it is hard to stay positive. But Shari, we thank you so much for everything you do for the brain cancer community, Head for the Cure, for letting us be involved, for being a little part of it. We're so thankful to have you here. And again, like Kezia said, we will make sure that the Head for the Cure information is included in our description of this episode.
Great. Thank you for your time. Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you too. And I do just want to remind all of our listeners to contact us. If you can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org. Follow us on Instagram, which is @thebindwaves, and visit our website, which is thebind.org/bindwaves.
And don't forget to hit that like button, click the share button, and subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube, might as well hit the notify button too. Just whatever button you see that looks like it should be fun to click, go ahead and click it. And again, continue listening to us on Thursdays. Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bind Waves and continue to support Bind and our nonprofit mission.
We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into the life, the community, and their workplace.
And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Continue watching. Until next time.
Until next time.